Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host and the noob, Caliban. What did I know? What did I know of love's austere and lonely offices?
And we're a couple of magical people ready to Moon Eternal make up this episode. Today we are talking about episode number 183, Shiro no Sekibi, Kyofu Kyampu no Kaijin in Japanese. And the English translation, The Screaming Dead, Terror of the Camp Monster. And the French title,
Ooh.
Les Esprits des Morts Hurlent, un monstre terrorise les campers. The Spirits of the Dead Howl, a monster terrorizes the campers. Oh.
Yeah. It's like, I've learned that because, such a quick organic plug. That's got to be some kind of record. On my Cyberpunk podcast, Mona Lisa Overpod, here on this network, available wherever you get your podcasts, we often talk about some of the inspirations behind Blade Runner, the guys that sort of started the first sort of cyberpunk media things.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were inspired by French comics, adult comics, not like that, but by artists like Moebius. And that was mostly in the magazine Metal Alain.
Oh, okay.
AKA Heavy Metal.
Oh, okay.
Heavy Metal magazine.
Sure. That's interesting.
Screaming metal.
Screaming metal.
Which, like, good. All good metal's screamed.
Yeah, of course. We know this.
You could have a metal where somebody's like, get the guy from Train. Right? He's got metal in his past.
You think so?
Yeah, I bet his hair was a lot longer and he was a metal guy. And then he's like, well, I can just sing about Tybo and then people will go nuts. I'm drowning in panties up here. Let's keep doing this. Yeah,
right. Oh my God.
Drops of Jupiter.
Oh my God.
But not Sailor Jupiter.
No.
We have fun. We like to have fun. But I like to bring it down for just a moment.
Oh no.
This has not been done for a while. Maybe we're going into another streak. But I feel like in the past we've opened a couple different shows with RIPs to certain people, artists that we admire and are going to miss now. And we had a real hell of a week this week.
Okay.
With the passing of several different people that I wanted to talk about. One of those people is French actor Alain.
Okay.
Who was in some amazing films and some really subversive for the 60s and early 70s. Films like Les Samouraïs, La Piscine, Splish Splash, and Mr. Klein. That's another really good one. Hidden gems that don't get enough press, I don't think. But he was an extremely good-looking man and a great actor. And just that kind of... Kyle MacLachlan has talked about his love of Alain Delon, just to try to connect this to a generation, still not our target audience, but at least one closer, and how he was almost too good looking, like it. And Kyle MacLachlan, same thing,
right.
Young hottie. But you put him in stuff and have him just kind of be blank. I'm not saying that either of these men can't act, but just have them sort of react to things, and we immediately... Our eyes are glued to this character, like whatever they're doing, even if they're a hired killer, like in Les Samouraïs, like you're like, oh boy, I hope this guy gets out of this. Like, what's he thinking?
Yeah, right.
And that's an important quality to have as a movie star. Another movie star that we lost recently was Gena Rowlands.
Okay.
One of the most important actresses of the 20th century.
Really?
Hands down.
Okay. What was she in?
Boy, well, again, these are undersung people, I guess, but all of her films with her husband Cassavetes, Woman Under the Influence, Gloria, Faces. Okay. These are all like these raw, emotional, naked performances that were happening in the late 60s and the 70s when women weren't doing that in film. They weren't doing that. You have to rewind all the way back to The Passion of Joan of Arc or something like that to see women really putting it all out there in a movie that's about a woman character who is dealing with something or is in trouble or is trying to get over something. And she really just brought an honesty and a passion and a style that would be adopted by everybody later, but she was one of the only people doing it then. And that's true of a lot of Cassavetes' work. She was also in The Notebook.
Okay, sure.
She was old Rachel McAdams in the future.
Okay, sure.
And of course, ironically, she plays a character who's suffering from Alzheimer's in general and succumbed to Alzheimer's. But
oh, great.
So anyway, I mean, she's a method actor. So she'll be missed. And then this was pointed out to us on Discord. Atsuko Tanaka passed away.
Yeah.
The go-to female voice, I think, for at least recent anime and Japanese seiyuu. Motoko Kusanagi in Ghost in the Shell, Conan in Naruto, Lisa in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. She was the voice of Japanese Bayonetta. She's the voice of Japanese Lara Croft. Just like one of the Angelina Jolie of Japanese voice actors. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Passed away suddenly, and she will be missed as well. So I guess this show, at least my part of this show, will be dedicated to these three performers.
I can dedicate my part of the show to these.
No, you do whatever you want with yours. You just threw it away.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. This is for you, Kid Rock.
Oh, my God.
Like what you're laying down. When Kid Rock goes,
yeah,
and I'll give this to him, hopefully far in the future.
Sure.
Will anybody say that about him?
I won't.
Will anybody be sharing the kind of words that I am about Kid Rock?
I'm sure there will be some people who rally behind him.
And now,
even in death,
to Kid Rock, we say, bawitdabyebye. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
His name was Kid Rock. So, Cal, would you like to tell us what happens on today's episode?
I will. I don't know if it will be métal hurlant, but that's what they said it was. We'll find out. We open on the remote countryside, and a storm lashes the trees of the forest as mountains loom in the background. We focus in on an isolated cabin, and we see that the mailbox says Ibuki, as a single light burns within the house. Inside, we see a bearded man holding a clay jar that he dashes to the ground. He picks up another. He seems to examine it disapprovingly and smashes it as well, saying, "Man, this is also a failure." We hear another voice say, "Don't be so restful." And the door of the cabin swings open to reveal Sailor Aluminum Siren, framed by lightning. The man says, "Whoa, who are you?" But Siren says, "Are you Ibuki Kengo, the young ceramic artist? I want to see a starseed." And she fires 2 blasts of energy from her bracelets that strike Kengo and reveal his starseed. But Siren says, "Merde, another blank." And we see the shadow of Kengo on the wall turn from something human to something monstrous. Now that's a teaser. The next day, we're still in the mountainous countryside as the sun shines down on a set of train tracks. On these tracks is a train, and inside that train is the squad, enjoying their equipentos and playing a hand of Old Maid, I'm guessing, because Ami has a joker in her hand.
Joker? You were supposed to take those out of the deck.
Oh, sorry.
Minako reaches for Ami's hand and says, "Which one should I pick?" And she picks the Old Maid.
Yeah, she does.
Not a commentary on you, Mina. No. Tearing past them comes Chibi, followed by Usagi saying, "Hey, hold still." Mina says, Usagi is out of luck having to watch Chibi. And Ray says, even when going camping, Usagi has to babysit. And Mina says, "I'm sure to find love at a summer resort." Oh man, this is just like the White Lotus. I think. I didn't watch it. You?
No, I didn't watch it.
It's very popular.
Either.
Everybody's talking about it.
I know.
Didn't see it. It's just like, it's white people with problems on vacation.
Right, exactly.
And it's a comedy, but these people got problems. Whatever happened to the fun summer vacation movies like, well, Vacation or Summer Rental or Us by Jordan Peele?
Oh my God.
Maybe not that last one.
Yeah.
Remember those?
Yeah, I do.
Remember the comedy movie period?
Yeah, I do. It's
What
something that
happened with
isn't
that?
done anymore.
Well, I don't know about comedy, but people can't afford summer vacations anymore. So those movies are like a science
that's
fiction
true.
film for most American families. Makoto says, since Ray-chan recommended it, I'm very excited. Think she'll get another line this episode?
Probably not.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Ami says to Ray, didn't you say you knew someone who lives near the campground? And Ray says, yes, my cousin, the ceramic artist. It's been a long time since we've seen each other. He made this for me. It's a bong. No. She holds up her necklace, which is like a bird, like a firebird.
Yes.
But it like sparkles. I don't know if he does metal work too. Or did he glaze it really good?
I think he glazed it really good.
But it's like a bronze bird.
Yes.
And the girls love it. And Ray says, I think it's great, but to him, it was a failure. Nice gift then.
Yeah, right.
I guess it's the thought that doesn't count. We get a flashback to when Ray received the necklace, and we see little Ray watching her cousin examine a pot that he's made. And we know what's coming next.
Yeah,
He smashes the pot for being imperfect. This guy smashes too many pots.
he does.
Link is going to tell this guy, whoa, too much pot smashing. That's what Link's voice sounds like. I'm revealing that exclusive on the show. It sounds like Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh my God.
Hey, Link, how's the smashing? Link, how's the smashing? As Lil Ray looks on in horror, he smashes piece after piece until he gets to the bird necklace. And he rears back to destroy it. But Ray says, wait, don't destroy it. It looks so beautiful. Kengo says, I'm sorry. Next time I'll make something even better for you. Until then, you can keep it. You can put your weed in there.
Oh my God.
Smashed pottery everywhere. A core childhood memory.
Oh my God.
I don't know what her parents were like.
I don't either.
Back up, we'll never know.
I know.
Apparently. But we know that she's got an uncle, though. Or a cousin.
A cousin.
Is that, oh, wait, hold on. In Japan, is a cousin actually your cousin?
Yeah.
Okay, but like, we just got done watching The Sopranos. You know how like everybody's your cousin?
Yeah,
Even
that's
if they're adopted or if they're second, third removed or something like that.
Yeah.
They're just like cousins. They don't have that in Japan?
I don't think they do.
Okay, everybody's like, no, you are definitely ichi cousin, son removed. Back on the train, Ray says, Kengo smashes everything when he's in a slump, like Dewey Cox.
You tear that sink off the wall, I'm leaving you.
Oh, yeah?
I'm leaving you, Dewey Cox.
Chibi goes tearing by again, just as the lunch cart lady goes trundling past. And Usagi comes running after Too Fast 2 Chibi and smashes into the cart. And Minako says, Usagi's in a slump for life. That's like the meanest thing she's ever said.
It's pretty mean.
This is like the White Lotus. We see an idyllic forest lake, the perfect campground, and our girls are walking on a trail to the camp. They pass a cop on a bike, and he says, hey, are you heading for camp? And the girls say, are we under arrest? Mind your own business. No, the girls say yes. And Minako says, to find romance in summer. And the cop says, romance sounds nice. I've got a girlfriend. But I've heard that someone is ravaging camps. Be careful. That's it?
Apparently that's it.
What? Be careful? That's it?
Apparently that's it.
Is it a bear? Who are the Ravagers? What are you talking about?
I know.
Hey, you might die. Have fun.
See ya.
And Usagi says, Camp Ravager? Yeah, it's a bad name for a camp.
Ravagers don't deal in kids.
We cut to the whirling blade of a chainsaw as teenage campers run in fear. Oh, they've got a Jason. Well, why didn't you just say that? We've got a Jason problem. Just call Tommy Jarvis. A teenage girl trips and falls, looking back at her attacker in terror. The zombie-like monster raises his chainsaw for the kill when he is struck with a bolt of energy. Both monster and victim turn to see a blue-suited hero with a C on his chest and a laser gun. He shouts, anywhere evil is nesting, we'll come and get you like a boom. What?
Like a boom?
Like boom boom pow?
I guess.
Maybe we can have a little translation rewind as a treat.
Okay.
In the Viz sub, available for free on YouTube, he says, wherever evil appears in this world, we will come to the rescue with a bang.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense.
Still not really a saying.
No.
Like a bang? Like a bang?
Like a bang.
Like a shot?
Maybe.
This is like 3 different levels of... It's like a person that speaks like broken Japanese, and then also maybe Google Translate AI.
Yeah,
and
right.
We come out with a boom. Like a boom. From behind the blue figure appears a red figure with a shield who says super red, and a yellow figure with a bow who says super yellow, and of course, super blue. We are the Sacred Command Super Commander. And we're here with a boom. This version, Secret Task Force.
Okay.
What's the C for then? On their chest.
That's a good question.
Yeah. So, all right. Caught you, Viz. Secret Task Force. That's fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
What about the Rainbow Commanders or something? The Primary Commanders.
Primary commanders. I like that.
You're welcome. The teenage victim gets up and says, "You came to save me. Super nice." Just killing it. Killing it. You think the sub guy
nice.
high-fived himself? He's like, oh, man, this is great.
Yeah.
Another Pocari sweat for me. We hear, "Cut! That's good!" And everyone relaxes as the camera boom comes down and a PA helps the monster actor take his mask off. It's a movie set.
Yes.
Or a television show set.
Yes.
It's be a pretty crappy movie.
You think so?
Well, it's a mix of genres. Like, what if 3 colorful superheroes showed up and tried to fight Jason?
Yeah.
Jason's going to have to win. You can't just beat Jason. So, let's cut to scene 42 where Super Red's head is going to be over there and Super Blue has been bisected down the middle by a chainsaw.
Oh my God.
Right?
Yeah.
Is this the end of the movie? Has he killed all the campers and now this last girl, they're going to save her? I don't know. Anyway, doesn't make a lot of sense. 3 lights, of course, are playing the heroes. Seiya, Yaten, and Taiki take a break in their chairs, feeling very hot in their hero costumes. Seiya says, "Hey, let's go swimming during the break." And the guys think that's a great idea. Mm-hmm. Hair and makeup might have something to say, though.
Yeah. No kidding.
Are we wrapped? Are we wrapped on Secret Task Force? Ray arrives at her cousin's cabin. And can I just comment quick? Ray is in like a half shirt and like cut off jean shorts.
Yes.
She looks like she's going to be in a Hardee's commercial. Like, it's a good look. No, I'm not slut shaming. It's like a good look. But I wanted more adult. I guess I'm getting it. She sees that the door is open, and going inside, she sees that everything is smashed. So, another slump?
Yeah, right.
In fact, Ray says, did he do this because he's in a slump? Wow, he individually bent every fork in the drawer, like Dewey Cox. Ray grasps her bird necklace as she says, "I've got a bad feeling."
Yeah.
Well, you are psychic.
Yes, she is.
We cut to the girls swimming. Yahoo! That's what they say. Is this a beach episode? Discuss.
It is a beach episode, I feel like. I mean, they're going to the beach. I mean, they're
Is
camping.
a beach episode literally just, we don't want to move the plot forward. And fan service. But these girls are, God, they got to be getting around to 16 by now. They're 15, let's say. They're late 15 and 3/4.
Yeah, right.
So we're not really going to do that part of the beach episode.
Right.
But that's what a beach episode is, right?
Yeah, that is what it is.
It's just like, everybody gets 2 weeks off. Good Japanese labor laws. I don't know if that's true. And we should definitely talk about that. And so the writer and then everybody's, it's just like when they let the interns do it.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. Takezo says something about the Loch Ness Monster. I don't know. We're going to give him a shot. Because that's when we get the weird things, right? We always get something like that. And it's happening again right now.
I know.
Usagi is in the water with Chibi and Minako, and she says, "Are you ready, Minako? Fire engine!" And she hugely splashes Minako, who responds, "That's it! Niagara!"
Niagara Falls. Slowly I turned, and step by step, inch by inch.
It's interesting. I never thought about how Niagara sounds like a Japanese word before.
I never thought about that before either.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Niagara?
Yeah.
That's so totally, that's like 2 Japanese syllables right together.
Yeah, right.
It's not Japanese.
No, it's not.
It's Iroquois or something like that. But yeah, that's interesting.
It is.
She drenches Usagi in Chibi, and Usagi says, "Okay then, typhoon number 18." Typhoons are numbered in Japanese, in Japan.
Oh, okay.
And I guess like if they're really bad or historical, then they get a name, but it's like, oh boy, number 5, not great. I'm not sure why this is 18. I was there like a famous one? Did they retire the number or something, hang it in the rafters?
Oh my gosh.
But anyway, this is 18. Manako responds with Polo Loca. Again, we don't have the context here.
So I actually have some information on what Polo Loca is.
Yeah.
So this is something that Usagi and Manako say when they're having their water fight, and it is a tidal wave exclusive to the Amazon River.
Oh. Why are they talking about this?
Because they're talking about specific like water fight type
They learn
things,
about it
I
in
think.
school or something? Are the Japanese obsessed with the Amazon River? They don't have any rivers like that in Japan.
They don't.
Yeah.
Maybe. I have no idea.
Okay, that answers one question, raises 50. Usagi says, hurricane! As Makoto and Ami look on, Mako says, Camp Ravager, I wonder. Yeah, don't finish that thought because nobody cares, I guess, what you have to say.
I know.
Tell me justice is coming for her. Ami says, I'm concerned, especially since Chibi is with us. Oh no, these girls going to kill a stunt actor in a costume?
Oh my gosh.
There he is! Flame sniper! Oh my god! We get a POV shot from under the water where we can see the legs of Chibi, Usagi, and Manako. Their delicious legs.
Oh my gosh.
It's very Jaws. As Usagi and Mina continue to splash each other, the view grows nearer. Looking out into the water, Ami sees something approaching them and yells, Look out, Usagi! Behind you! But Usagi is too busy trying to drown her friend. Ami starts rushing towards them as from the depths behind them rises 3 lights!
Yes.
It was the 3 lights.
It was.
The whole time. Usagi says, Seiya? Manako says, Taiki? Makoto says, Yaten? And Chibi says, Chibi? Later on the shore, the 2 groups are catching up as Usagi says, Wow, you guys are the agents of justice protecting the earth? It's the end of the world. Great. Like, oh, if you're protecting us, we're dead. You know?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So she's ribbing him a little bit.
Yeah.
She's flirting. She's actually flirting now.
She is.
I didn't know she knew how to do that.
I didn't either.
Seiya says, Shut up, dumpling head.
I was in the pool!
Seiya goes back to recapping the plot of the film. So the monster resurrects from the lake and attacks the camp, and then we defeat it. That sounds like a terrible movie, see?
Yeah, it does.
But Manako says, What if the Camp Ravagers are monsters? I'm scared. Mina does know how to flirt.
Yeah, she does.
Or at least put herself in the right position. Mina, you're a superhero. Mina, you are 2 superheroes.
Yeah, she
I think
is.
you can handle some monsters. Makoto said, We heard somebody is ravaging camps around here. And Yaten says, That sounds like our movie. And Manako says, I'm very scared. Come on, Sailor V, have some self-respect. He's not even looking at you.
I know.
Seiya has a thought to himself, and he says, You know, it might be true. And Usagi's like, What? And he says, A monster. And Usagi says, No. But Seiya says, You never know. Ooh. And Mina says, Oh no, I'm scared. Yaten, please protect me. She's going to land this guy, I think.
Yeah.
It's going to work.
I know.
A PA runs over and says, 3 lights, we are ready for you. So they weren't done.
No.
Got to fix their hair again.
I know.
Deep in the woods, we see a rabbit hop into the brush as a dark figure is plodding through the trees. In another part of the woods, Usagi and Chibi are collecting firewood when a figure appears. It's Ray! Not a monster, but potentially scary.
Yes.
Usagi says, Oh, don't scare us. You came out of nowhere. Hey, how's your cousin? And Ray says, He wasn't there. I phoned him earlier. She seems upset.
Yeah.
We cut back to the movie shoot where Chainsaw Man is tussling with Super Red, who along with the other super commanders kick the crap out of the monster. The director calls cut and a wrap for the day, and we cut forward to 3 lights standing outside of the wardrobe truck where Seiya has grabbed the monster costume. Uh-oh! They're going to kill Seiya in a monster costume! That evening, the girls are setting up camp, and Makoto is making dinner for everybody. They got like a cream stew going on the fire.
Yeah.
And Chibi is running around with 2 flaming sticks in either hand.
I know!
The promised sign! The blood-dimmed tide has come. It's all for you, Chibi! And Chibi's got a real head start as Usagi comes tearing after her, but Chibi stops short and drops her flaming brands. And she and Usagi see Yaten and Taiki running towards them, yelling, "Look out! Look out! We saw a monster ravaging a camp! It was a real ravaging, let me tell you!" And all the girls are dismayed at this, and they huddle to make a plan. But Rei is worried that her cousin has also fallen victim to the Ravagers. As the girls converse, Taiki and Yaten give each other big winks. Why are they doing this?
I don't know.
They're wingmanning Seiya, I guess. They don't seem to like girls at all. From the surrounding woods, we hear the cries of other campers or possibly crew members, and Yaten says, "Wow, he's really going for it."
Uh-huh.
Back in the squad huddle, Usagi asks, "Do you think there really is a monster?" I mean, the last time we did this, we met Nessie.
I know, I know.
Are we looking at a Bigfoot situation? Are we going to be forest wives? Hibagon.
Hibagon?
Hibagon is the Japanese Bigfoot.
Oh.
I looked it up.
Oh.
He looks like, I don't remember the name, but remember that monster in Looney Tunes that, Daffy Duck would have to take care of as a baby, or maybe Bugs Bunny ran into him and he was like a reddish purple. He looked like Cousin It, kind of. He was all hair.
I don't
and
remember
big feet
this.
at the bottom. Anyway, real heads know. That's kind of what Hibagon looks like.
Okay.
As if in answer, from the woods appears a clay-colored creature with a fuku collar and a huge mallet. It's the new Harley Quinn redesign. The creature cries, "Failure!" and begins ravaging the camp. The girls scream in terror, and Yaten and Taiki scream in mock terror. Usagi is like, "Hey, our tent! Mako, can you hold her?" Gives her chibi. "Hey, listen, what are you doing?" The monster turns threateningly towards them, and all the girls take off running. Zoinks! Oh yeah, I was way off on the Scooby-Doo thing. 1 episode later, we're running from a guy in a rubber mask in a woods.
I know.
To the abandoned amusement park. The monster continues to destroy the camp as Taiki and Yaten look on in glee. But Taiki says, "Wait, didn't he have a chainsaw?" As the monster runs off into the woods. We see the chainsaw and the model actor wielding it, walking through the woods in his monster costume. He says to himself, "That must have worked. They'll be paralyzed with fright." And then the making out begins.
Oh my God.
I guess that's the plan. Also, did he attack a different camp? I don't know if it's like a translation thing where like the tenses are wrong, but he seems like he's like, "Ha ha ha ha," right?
Yeah, it does.
Can he see in this mask? Maybe the Camp Ravagings, because we never find out who the Camp Ravagings are, unless they are just the monster.
I think it is just the monster.
If they were happening before, maybe he was just walking around on break, a break-in shooting, and just terrorizing campers unknowingly. As he walks, we see Usagi and the squad running in the opposite direction, pursued by the mallet-wielding monster. This is now a Scooby-Doo episode.
Yes.
At the girls' camp, Taiki and Yaten are wondering how far Seiya's going to take this when the Chainsaw Man runs into the camp, swinging wildly. Yaten says, "Oh, he's back." And they run up to him, and Taiki says, "Okay, all right, that's enough." And Seiya says, "Enough? I haven't done any ravaging yet." Hey, where is everybody? Who broke all these tents? Yaten and Taiki immediately run off into the forest, and Seiya, removing his mask, runs after them. In the woods, the girls continue to flee from the monster, but Rei trips over a root and falls to the ground. Oh, maybe she's dressed for her part as the hot girl who's going to get killed by this monster in the movie.
Oh my God.
That's the move, right?
Yeah.
I fell. So this slow-ass monster can catch up because the actor can't see anything in his rubber mask. Rei is the girl who... We can just make these all house girls.
House.
Sure.
Right? I know there's 7 house girls, right? But we can just cut out the one that eats too much, even though that's probably Usagi. So for Usagi's sake, we're going to cut out Cheeseburger or whatever the house girl's name is, right?
Okay, right.
Rei Kung Fu or is Makoto Kung Fu?
I think Makoto's Kung Fu.
So Rei is the rich, snobby one?
Okay, yes. I can see that.
There's a little bit of PGSM in there too, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Usagi she's the final girl. She's the virginal final girl, right?
Yeah.
Mina dies immediately.
So she'd be the food one then.
Mina gets caught with... No. I'm just saying the archetypes. It doesn't have to be the order that the girls die in house.
Okay.
Yeah. Mina gets stabbed through a hammock, while she's canoodling with a boy. So she's immediately gone. Ami is, the one who figures out the ritual that they need to banish the monster. But then she's, they come back to ask her a question and it's just her head. Like, she's...
Yeah, right.
She's decapitated. And Chibi's not there. Chibi's out of this one.
Yes.
Not going to be there. Okay, we got it. We figured it out. Yeah, Mina would die immediately, but if she gets laid, she's fine with it. Usagi and Rei are cornered by the monster, and he brings his hammer down as Rei gets out of the way just in time. Her bird necklace, however, falls to the ground, and the monster seems to stop as he is transfixed by the sight of it. Usagi says, "Let's transform." And they do, into Sailors Moon and Mars. Great! That's great. Heels are going to work great in this forest. Sailor, you ever run in a forest in heels?
No, I can't say that I have.
Never reached that part of your filmmaking career.
No.
Sailor Mars says, "With so many plans, we came to this summer resort to have fun." And Sailor Moon says, "Single, eating, and looking for romance are part of our camp that you've disturbed, you bad guy. In the name of the moon, we'll punish you." The monster yells, "Failure! You're a failure!" And Sailor Moon says, "Rude! Why am I a failure?" In response, the monster makes a vase come out of his belly.
Yes.
Because this is a weird show. And Sailor Moon is like,
What the fuck?
The monster shoots the vase at the Senshi, and it hits a tree behind them, going splat. He fires a clay plate at Sailor Moon, who ducks, and it hits a tree behind her. This is what it's like when you get drunk in Sedona, I think. The monster reaches down and grabs Rei's necklace and raises his hand, yelling, "Failure!" But Rei says, "Stop! Don't destroy it!" The monster contemplates the bird, and Rei remembers the similar moment that happened years ago and his promise to her then. She says, "You're Kengo, aren't you?" The monster seems to struggle with this, before yelling, "Failure!" and shooting another pot at them. Sailor Mars says, "I'm sure it's him." And the monster yells, "Everything here and there is a failure." Yep, that's him. The monster begins to birth a huge pot. This is going to be a Dutch oven.
Oh my God.
But Sailor Mars reacts with a flame sniper, firing into his belly and halting his attack. She says, "Now, Sailor Moon." Sailor Moon gives us the shtick, and the monster becomes Kengo once more. Sailor Mars runs to him and sees that he and her bird necklace are all right. In the tree, the Sailor Starlights stand ready to intervene, but when the conflict ends, Sailor Starfighter says, "It seems like they can be capable when they need to be," and the three leap away. They got a rap party to go to. Later, the squad and three lights are hanging out at Kengo's place as Manako tries her hand at making a pot. And she tried to get Kengo to ghost her. That was right.
Oh my gosh. I know what you're talking about.
But unfortunately, her pot collapses and everyone's having a good time anyway. Rei asks Kengo, "Were all your great works destroyed?" But Kengo says, "It's a good chance to start again. Maybe ceramic vape pens. I've been looking for something so new that I lost myself." Yeah, and you were attacked by a French underwear model. Wait a minute. Vape pens? French underwear models? Is this guy Leonardo DiCaprio? Outside, Usagi is yelling at Seiya, "Shame on you! You fainted when you saw the Camp Ravager? Aren't you the hero of justice in the movie?" She's really giving it to him.
She is.
And Seiya says, "Well, it all happened so fast." Usagi says, "Your fans are going to be disappointed." And before we can respond, the door behind them opens and knocks them both to the ground with him on top of her. Everyone inside sees the two of them, and with her little hand on the door is Chibi, beaming. Usagi grabs Useiya and screams, "You pervert!" And Seiya says, "It was an accident!" Womp, womp. I've had a realization. I'm going to share it with you.
Let's hear it.
Chibi is Seiya's kid.
Oh my gosh.
That's what's going on.
You think so?
The closer they get, She should become more and more real. An alternate timeline is forming where they never rescue Mamo, or I don't know, he finally comes back and she's like, sorry. And then Seiya becomes, King Crystal or whatever. And then they have Chibi and not Chibi. That's what's going on.
Oh my God.
It is an alternate timeline. There you go.
I like the idea of an alternate timeline.
Yeah, if we're going to do time travel, we got to do that. I give them all the credit. They did they waited a long time to do it, 2.5 seasons after her introduction, but they did the whole Back to the Future. Chibi can't exist anymore because Mamoru's going to be something slave to Nehelania for the rest of his life or something.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what's going on. That's it.
I like this theory.
Mark it down. So what? These guys are everywhere.
Yeah, they are.
We've talked about idols, or we've talked about movie stars.
We've talked about idols.
I get the feeling that I don't know how it works. We've talked. I don't know if we've talked about this on this show, but we've talked about how, as Americans,
yes,
we don't want to be treated any differently. We're going to treat you different. No. We kind of export culture, and just because of, I don't know what it is, but just because we have like the most money or one of the biggest economies, that means everybody loves our art the most.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess distribution is a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Getting it out there. But anyway, so we export culture. So people would be a lot more likely to know an American celebrity than a non-American celebrity, which is why I had to explain who Alain Delon was to everybody. And then you have something like whenever you watch a British TV show, you watch Doctor Who, and the guest star is like, oh, it's so-and-so from Eastbound and Down in the Ducks or something like that. And you're like, well, what? But everybody in the UK knows who that is. Right. Or if you watch a UK comedian, they're making references to people, and people are like, oh, yeah. And you're like, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, exactly.
I got the internet. I'm going to look it up, I guess. Oh, they were on the bill. Okay, that's where they're famous from.
Yeah, right.
So I'm assuming that in Japan, people become famous and kind of stick around, like in the UK.
I think so.
But probably our most here, scrap what I was saying. The three lights are the Zazie Beats of Japan.
Oh no!
I think that they're getting everything they can out of them, and the clock's ticking. Right?
Okay.
About 6 months is probably left in their career before somebody younger and floppier haired with a longer mullet tail comes in, and then it's like them. They're the big thing, right?
Yeah.
And so they're like, we got to do a stage musical. We got to do photo ops. We have to do a TV show where we're Sherlock Holmes or something.
Right.
We got to do a movie where we're fighting monsters. We got to go through every part of the machine, use every part of the buffalo from a promotional perspective.
Right.
And then they'll just be gone, right? Because otherwise, it kind of seems like they're just enjoying a jet-setting lifestyle of fame and not really looking for her.
Yeah, you're right.
All that much.
They're not.
So after we know her loves her, we know her loves horror movies. So, well, yeah, we'll take that project, agent. Right?
Right.
Why don't they just get on whatever Japanese Ed Sullivan is, Beat Takeshi Comedy Hour or something,
right?
And just go, we like to sing our song, but before we do, just look right in the camera and be like, we're looking for you. Call me. 867-5309. That's my press agent. You know who you are.
Yeah, right.
And then that would cause notoriety, but it wouldn't I don't know if they have to not have people figure out they're from space or something like that, but it wouldn't matter because they're famous already. So the rags would pick up who is Seiya? Who is this Paramore? Who are they looking for?
Yeah,
and they could put the full weight of Japanese celebrity journalism into finding this person.
No, you're right.
Instead of just going on a talk show and being like, oh, I hope she hears this.
Yeah, right.
What?
I know.
The only thing they've caught so far is an old French conductor guy. Throw him back.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Yes.
This is a terrible plan.
It's not a good plan.
Ravaging camps. Why ravaging?
I don't know.
Is there a word? You don't know the answer. Is there a word in Japanese that specifically means ravaging?
I have no idea.
When the Hulk goes on that would be rampaging.
Yes.
Maybe it's the same word in Japanese. So I'm going to get a Japanese language copy of The Incredible Hulk. It was ravaging camps, just ravaging them. I know we talked about how, we export culture, and so that means people import culture. And so I'm sure that there is a fan base for Freddy, Jason.
Oh, of course.
In Japan, although they have their own grand tradition of horror movies.
Yes, they do.
When they set out to make a horror movie, are they doing like, let's go to camp. Oh, we're loving making s'mores. Oh my God. Do they do that? Or are they like, no, it's got to be, it's a phone or a VHS tape or, do you know what I mean?
I think it's usually the latter
Do they
from
ever
what
make
I've
like
seen.
come on, they're going out to, we're going to camp in Iga Prefecture.
Well, I mean, Battle Royale is kind of like...
That's like an island.
Yeah, I suppose.
They're not camping. What'd you pack? A machete. Great. Gonna be ready to go.
I mean, they're not having fun. So.
No, they're not having fun. That movie starts, they're going on a field trip.
Okay.
And then they're on the bus and they get gassed on the bus, isn't it? I think they get gassed and they wake
haven't
up
seen it in a long time.
in a classroom because there's a school on this abandoned island. I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
With the shock collars on. And then Beat Takeshi comes in and yells at him.
Of course.
But that's not a horror movie. That's like a
thriller?
Thriller, yeah.
Yeah.
And Gogo Yuburi is won last year. She was the winner. That actress, I can't remember her name.
I can't remember her name either.
Let's talk about what I think is going to happen in the future.
Yeah, what do you think is going to happen?
Request for that. So I guess this is the last one I'm going to do, huh? Well, we've already locked in that
so?
Chibi is the alternate timeline daughter of Seiya and Usagi. Or Sailor Starfighter and Mamoru. Let's not limit these people. Come on. Do they really? Yeah, we've talked about that. I guess they do.
What?
They really like
change?
They just become women. All
yeah,
right.
they just become women.
Hey, look, I don't want to. Great.
In the manga, it's different. They just dress as men, but they're women the entire time.
Oh, but we know that's not true in the anime.
Yes.
Let's go in the bathroom. Let's.
They're in this episode. They're wearing swim trunks.
Maybe they're bound. Oh, that's true. Yeah. Oh boy, that kind of puts. Well, all right. Look, I just look. Calm down, everyone. From a '90s children's cartoon point of view. Yes. That is the nail in the coffin, if it were. So that's what's happening, which I'm fine with. I'm also fine with them, it being in drag. I think that's actually cooler. So is there we're totally derailed, but this is more important than what I was going to say. They all win and they all live happily ever after. That's what I think is going to happen. So is there a divide between manga readers and show readers about which is cooler? Like Sailor Starlights who are doing a Marlene Dietrich type thing, or sex changing, transforming Henshin Sailor Starlights? I
don't know if there's a preferred way. I think that fans like both. I know that Naoko has a preferred way, and it's the way she wrote it.
Beep, beep. Very angry beep.
And the reason she doesn't like that they transform is because she wanted all sailors to be girls all the time.
I guess I understand that.
Yeah.
Although I think that the franchise has grown beyond that original view. Yeah. That radical feminist view. Let's not go there.
Oh my God.
I'm just kidding, everybody. I'm just kidding. What if Hermione was a guy?
Oh my gosh.
I'd kill her. Okay. Yeah, I see why she did that. And I also think it's cool and maybe a commentary on, I don't know if she was trying to, but a commentary on Japanese entertainment figures and the hype that surrounds
Yeah.
These figures. Because, I don't know, it could be like a Takarazuka review thing. Like,
Yeah.
maybe their fans wouldn't care if they found out that they were girls.
Right.
But then, you know, they're kind of getting away with something. And I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's true.
But I also think them literally just transforming and changing sexes is cool too.
It is cool.
All right. Well, good.
Yeah.
It's good to have it both ways.
Yeah, it is.
Like the Sailor Star Lights. I think that, okay, so here's what it is. The Sailor Galaxia is obviously a very powerful person from outside of our solar system. And there are, whatever the power of sailors is, there are hierarchies to this power. Mm-hmm. And so Sailor Galaxia, I don't know if she's the only one who was at this level, but she is at a higher level than everybody else. She's like the boss of the Senshi. Like I said, I don't know if she took this role, was given this role, who knows. And so she wants to control the universe with the seeds. What form that takes, it would be really hard for me to speculate because the show is not really giving us anything.
That's true.
We kind of get the idea that like, oh, monsters, you know, from another dimension. Well, we don't want them here. That's going to be bad. Weird lady, first an old lady, then a lady with long hair, want to control dreams. Well, we clearly don't want that to happen.
Right.
I don't really get what's going to happen if she gets the seeds. And I don't think that they've really elucidated that.
I don't think they have
She
either.
will rule or control or something, whatever form that takes.
Yeah.
And I do think that this show does like continuity, and I do think it's probably due to the manga, but I think there is a built world here. Mm-hmm. But that being said, I don't think the show cares that much about it. So I think that we will have an episode near the end where we meet Galaxia as a teenager or something like that, and we will get a little background. We'll find a very tenuous connection to the Silver Millennium, kingdom. But I don't think they're going to get into they're going to learn that, oh, their powers have been evil this entire time.
Yeah, right.
They've only been using them for good. But if they keep using this power, it's a bad thing or something like that. That would be like the sort of twist when you bring in a villain that, has a power similar to yours. And it's like, oh, no, the power comes from me and I'm evil.
Right.
I don't think they're going to do anything like that. It'd be cool, though. And somehow Usagi and Mamoru will get married at the end of the show. That's what I think is going to happen.
Okay.
He'll burst into her third period English class, get down on one knee.
Oh my gosh.
Teacher will tell him to get out. How'd I do? You can't say.
I think you did pretty good.
You can't say.
Yeah, I can't really say.
We'll never know what the word for ravaging is in Japanese. Would you recognize the color of television tuned to a dead channel?
Have you seen attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion?
Is Neo Tokyo about to explode?
Are you a technical boy or a razor girl?
Do you live 20 minutes into the future?
Do you dream of electric sheep?
Do you know Kung Fu?
If your answer to any of these questions is yes, you may be a cyberpunk. And your only hope is Mona Lisa Overpod.
On each episode of Mona Lisa Overpod, we try to answer the question, what is cyberpunk? By diving into the movies, TV shows, and literature of the genre that takes a hard look at the future we're living in today.
Mona Lisa Overpod is available wherever you get your podcasts.
Jack in with us as we punch deck and snow crash our lawnmower? Man?
Oh man, you had it right up until the end there.
Hack the planet!
Right on.
Today for Kuro Kuro Mirror, or Curiously Looking Around, where we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, we're going to be talking about the Japanese film industry.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yes. Japanese film has been around for more than 100 years, and it is the fourth largest industry in the world based on the number of feature films produced. In 2011, Japan produced 411 feature films that earned 54.9% of a box office total of US $2.338 billion. Okay. So more than half of the money in Japanese box office is from
domestic films.
Yes.
Japanese domestic films.
Yes, exactly.
Cool.
Japanese cinema got stuck in the silent era for a while and was accused of being too
And they couldn't
theatrical
call for
at
help.
times. Yes,
All right.
exactly.
Sorry.
And was made into a vehicle for propaganda in the pre-war and war years. After the war, there was a new list of restrictions imposed by the U.S. government. Then came the program picture and pink films.
Right. Well, all of which we've kind of talked about.
Kind of.
Scattershot
Yes.
on previous episodes.
During the 1950s, a period dubbed the Golden Age of Japanese cinema, the Jidaigeki films of Akira Kurosawa, as well as the science fiction films of Ishiro Honda and Eiji Tsuburaya, gained Japanese cinema international praise and made these directors universally renowned and highly influential.
Don't forget about Yasujiro Otsu.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
I'm actually going to talk about one of his films here really quick.
Okay, I'll shut up. I'm just excited because I love Japanese cinema.
I know.
And we talk about it all the time.
We do.
On our feature on Patreon, Sailor Cinema.
Yes.
A totally organic plug. You're the one who's talking about movies.
I am. Some of the Japanese films of this period are now rated some of the greatest films of all time. Tokyo Story is an Ozu film,
Yes.
which we watched for Sailor Cinema, ranked number 3 in Sight and Sound Critics' list of 100 greatest films of all time.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I would. I think it's pretty dang good.
Have you seen 100 films?
No, I haven't. So
100 films total? Yeah.
Well, I have, but I haven't seen all the films on that list.
Oh,
I'm
no,
sure.
no, me either. What was number 1? Jean Diamant?
I think it was Citizen Kane.
What year was that list? Because 2000 the 2012 Sight and
it's-
Sound was Jean Diamant.
Oh, okay. Maybe I was wrong then.
Well, I mean, I'm positive it's on there, and I'm positive it's in the top 10. It's a very arty pick. Don't look. You watch, any old Kurosawa film. People are going to talk, but then also get the blood jets ready because people are going to fight.
Right.
Tokyo Story, it's all talking,
Yeah.
but it's fascinating.
Yeah, it is.
You are so sucked in, and a lot of that is due to Setsuko Hara, his muse and perennial lead actress in many of Ozu's films. Yeah, that's a really good movie.
It is a really good movie. And it also topped the 2012 Sight and Sound Directors Poll of the top 50 greatest films of all time.
There you go.
Bumping Citizen Kane.
Interesting. They asked the directors,
Yes.
what's your favorite film? And they say,
Right.
Ozu.
Yeah.
Because he's smart. Because he never moves the camera. His job's easy.
Yeah, right.
Just say action.
While Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai was voted the greatest foreign language film of all time in BBC's 2018 poll of 209 critics from 43 countries.
Huh.
Japan also won the Academy Award for the Best International Feature Film 5 times, more than any other Asian country. And those films were Rashomon, Gate of Hell, which we talked about on Sailor Cinema,
Yes.
Samurai, The Legend of Musashi, Departures, and Drive My Car, which we also talked about on Sailor Cinema.
We talked about Legend of Musashi, didn't we? Is that the same? That's the same one as Samurai 1, 2, and 3?
Is it?
Who's the director? Well, you don't have to look it up, but I'm fairly sure. There's obviously been more than one Musashi movie, but those are kind of the ones that people think of.
Okay. So maybe we watch that for Sailor Cinema also. Then.
Oh, yeah. We've covered
Okay.
a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Japan's big 4 film studios are Toho, Toei, Shoshiku, and Kadokawa, which are the only members of the Motion Picture Producers Association of Japan, MPPAJ. From Wikipedia, quote, the kinescope, first shown commercially by Thomas Edison in the United States in 1894, was first shown in Japan in November of 1896. The Vitascope and the Lumiere Brothers Cinematograph were first presented in Japan in early 1897. Lumiere cameramen were the first to shoot films in Japan. The first successful Japanese film in late 1897 showed sights in Tokyo.
Huh.
Early films were influenced by traditional theater. At the beginning of the 20th century, theaters in Japan had benshi, or storytellers who sat next to the screen and narrated silent movies. They were descendants of kabuki jori, kodan storytellers, and theater barkers. Benshi could be accompanied by music like silent films from cinema of the West. With the advent of sound in the early 1930s, the Benshi gradually declined.
So they're just reading the cards then, basically.
Yes.
Right? The dialogue cards.
Exactly.
No, don't tie me to this train track. Then in Japanese.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm actually not 100% sure if they had the dialogue cards or if they just, like, in the film themselves, or if they just narrated over.
Are they American films?
No, these are Japanese films.
Oh, so they're just making, they don't have any sound equipment. They're just making films.
Yeah.
And then they're like, here's like a script. Here's what basically happens in the film.
Yeah, I think so. That's what I got from it anyways.
All right.
I mean, maybe they did that for American films.
Why don't they just
too.
put in a card that says, I can't pay the rent or whatever.
I mean, maybe
At
they
this
did
point,
that too.
She can't pay the rent. They're like, shut up.
I mean, they might have put in the cards also, but I just kind of pictured it as them just doing all the talking.
Yeah.
Another element of Japanese theater that bled over into film was the onagata, or the male performer playing a woman. Many early film critics often focused on chastising the work of studios like Nikatsu and Tenkatsu for being too theatrical and for not utilizing what were considered more cinematic techniques.
Like having women in your movie?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. In his 1917 film, The Captain's Daughter, based on the play by Choji Nakauchi, based in turn on the German film Gendarme Mobius, Masao Inoue
That's a lot to take in.
started using techniques new to the silent film era, such as the close-up and cutback. With the rise of left-wing political movements and labor unions at the end of the 1920s, there arose so-called tendency films with left-leaning tendencies. In contrast to those commercially produced 35mm films, the Marxist Proletarian Film League of Japan, or Prokino, made works independently in smaller gauges such as 9.5mm and 16mm.
Nice.
With more radical intentions. Tendency films suffered from severe censorship heading into the 1930s.
Yeah.
And Prokino members were arrested and the movement effectively crushed.
Yeah.
Such moves by the government had profound effect on the expression of political dissent in the 1930s cinema.
Yeah, the Grapes of Wrath isn't making it over there.
No.
They're like, we're good.
Exactly.
No thanks, Henry Fonda. Wherever a Japanese man's watching a movie, you won't be there.
Oh my gosh. A later version of The Captain's Daughter, directed by Namio Ochiai and Kenji Mizoguchi's Fujiwara Yoshie no Furusato,
Yikes.
known internationally as Hometown, were the two earliest talkie films. They used the Minataki system with dialogue written on chalkboards and were immediate flops because Nikatsu raised the admission prices 50%,
Sure.
leading them to temporarily abandon sound film.
Sure.
Unlike in the West, silent films were still being produced in Japan well into the 1930s. As late as 1938, a third of Japanese films were silent.
That costs money.
Yeah, that's true.
It's expensive to do sound.
Yeah.
That's why, obviously they wanted to make money off of the novelty, but they charge more because it probably costs more to produce the film.
It probably did.
People are like, Randy does a good job of explaining what's going on. That's fine.
The 1930s also saw increased government involvement in cinema, which was symbolized by the passing of the film law, which gave the state more authority over the film industry in 1939.
Great.
The government encouraged some forms of cinema producing propaganda films and promoting documentary films, also called bunka eiga, or culture films, with important documentaries being made. Fictional films were produced with a sense of realism.
That's of real fascism.
Yeah, I know.
Awesome.
I know.
I wonder if any of those have survived.
We'll get to it.
Oh.
I don't know if
I need to
many
shut up.
have,
I'm sorry.
but
Okay.
after the surrender, quote from Wikipedia, after the surrender of Japan in 1945, wartime controls and restrictions on the Japanese film industry were abolished, and the Supreme Commander for the Allied Powers, SCAP, established the Civil Information and Education Section.
That's a new kind of propaganda.
CIE. Yeah. Right. Which
Hey, you like baseball?
which came to manage the industry. All film proposals and screenplays were processed and approved by CIE. The script would then be processed by the Civil Censorship Detachment, CCD, which was under the direct control of American military. Pre-war and wartime films were also subject to review, and over 500 were condemned, with half of them being burned. In addition, Toho and Dai preemptively destroyed films they thought would be incriminating.
So the answer is no.
Yeah.
They're like, get rid of all the propaganda films.
Yeah.
Did they have we had Donald Duck, like shooting at Japanese guys?
Oh my gosh.
Did they have get him, Astro Boy? He's just like punching American GIs.
I don't know. I guess I wouldn't be surprised if that was something that they had.
Here's the mascot of the Imperial House. Hey,
Oh my god.
look out. He's got a big foam sword. Ooh.
So
how did something like Stray Dog make it through then? Stray Dog, the 1949 movie by Akira Kurosawa, which we talked about on Sailor Cinema.
We did talk about it on Sailor Cinema. But by the time the 50s came around,
49.
I know.
Yeah.
These restrictions loosened quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I don't
Americans
know.
got bored and went home.
Yeah.
Because that movie is all about how the institutions are not perfect.
Right.
And you think you would want a film. I'm a propagandist in Japan in the 40s, didn't you know? And I'm like, let's make a movie about how Billy's house, Billy San's house, I fixed it, house burned down in the Allied fire bombings. But then all his neighbors came and helped put it back together. And then there you go. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
But instead we get Stray Dog. We get humanity and paper balloons. It's just everybody's living in the gutter. It's all terrible. And sure, you don't see any white guys in green outfits around. We kind of leave them out.
Yeah.
But it just shows that the system is corrupt. It's fallible. Your main character, I lost my gun. Oh, great. This is our hero.
Yeah.
And you see how just hard bitten everybody is after this horrible war that killed millions of people.
Yeah.
It just seems what about something fun? What about a review?
Yeah.
What's the Japanese version of Yankee Doodle Dandy? We'll get Cagney in here. It'd be great. He's about the same height as everybody. So it just amazes me that amazing cinema came out of that period, because it did.
Yeah, it did.
Censors are looking the other way.
Yeah, they must have been. In November 1945, CIE announced it would forbid films deemed to be infused with militarism, showing revenge as a legitimate motive, nationalistic, chauvinistic and anti-foreign, distorting historical facts, favoring racial or religious discrimination, portraying feudal loyalty or contempt of life as desirable and honorable, approving suicide, whether directly or indirectly, dealing with or approving the subjugation of degradation of women, depicting brutality, violence, or evil as triumphant, anti-democratic, condoning the exploitation of children, or at variance with the spirit of the letter of the Potsdam Declaration or any SCAP directive.
So how did they make any samurai films at all?
It was really, really hard, actually.
Because every single samurai film that you just described, a samurai film. Give me some character names and we got a film off of what you just said.
Yeah, right.
Feudalism, good. Often treachery. The women, that's not good for them. They're always getting it in those films. So how did they make any of those films?
It was really hard. And yeah, it was a major consequence. It was very hard to make those kind of films.
A samurai film where everything worked out great.
Right.
Sunshine Samurai.
Right. A notable case of censorship was of the war film Escape at Dawn, written by Akira Kurosawa and Senkichi Taniguchi, which was rewritten over a dozen times at the request of CIE, largely erasing the original content of the story.
That was 1950. And 7 years later, Bridge Over the River Kwai. So there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
That wasn't a Japanese film, but yeah.
No, but the number of films produced and the cinema audience reached a peak in the 1960s. Most films were shown in double bills, with one half of the bill being a program picture or B-movie. A typical program picture was shot in 4 weeks. The demand for these program pictures in quantity meant the growth of the film series such as The Hoodlum Soldier and Akuyama.
Yeah, and we have that in Hollywood too. Like that's what the B movie was. People think B movie, they think monsters or whatever, but it was literally just a movie that cost a lot less.
Yeah,
and was
right.
just meant to go on a double bill, like a B side, on a single,
Right.
musically. Yeah, but sometimes they surpassed the movies that they were paired with,
Sure.
and they became very popular.
Yeah. The 1970s saw the cinema audience drop due to the spread of television. Total audience declined from 1.2 billion in 1960 to 0.2 billion in 1980. Film companies refused to hire top actors and directors, and even the company's production skills to the television industry, thereby making the film companies losing money. Film companies fought back in various ways, such as the bigger budget films of Kadokawa Pictures, or including increasingly sexual or violent content and language, which could not be shown on television. The resulting pink film industry became the stepping stone for many young independent filmmakers.
I mean, you're just describing movies on Earth
I
at
suppose.
this time. That's the same thing happened in America, and the rise of porno chic was probably tied to the fact that they needed to air something that you couldn't get at home.
Right.
So we had that here too. Interesting.
Yeah. The 70s also saw the start of the idol eiga, films starring young idols who would bring in audiences due to their fame and popularity. I mean, you can kind of think of our idols in this show too.
Yeah. And they just figured that out in the 70s?
That's when it first started becoming really
Well, we
popular.
had Frank Sinatra doing movies in the 40s.
That's true.
You
That is true.
There's a reason that Ricky Nelson is in Rio Bravo, and it's because we want little kids to come see this or young women.
In October 2020, after the reopening of the film industry, a Japanese anime film, Demon Slayer Mugen Train, based on the Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba manga series, broke all box office records in the country, becoming the highest grossing film of the time in Japan, the highest grossing Japanese film of all time, and the highest grossing film of 2020.
Of course, now it's Deadpool and Wolverine, but...
Yeah, right.
No, I don't know if that's true. Demon Train, popular.
Yeah,
No denying.
yeah.
But did they cash the biggest jackpot of all time by being basically the first fun movie you could see after the theaters reopened?
Yes, I think that has a lot to do
It could have
with
been Despicable Me 3 or something like that.
It could have
would have just been that then.
Yeah. No, you're
Do
absolutely
you
right.
have to dub the minions in other languages?
Probably.
Yeah, for union rules, not for legibility.
Oh, yeah. I suppose that's right. Because they just make nonsense noises. Yeah.
Randy, he says that Gru really screwed up this time. God, thank God we got Randy there. Come on, I just created Randy.
And it's great.
That's not, I know, I created him before. That was a callback to Randy. Randy's been here the whole time. He's explaining what's happening in this movie. Because there's no title cards.
Oh, right.
He's
That's
the
right.
freaky
He's-
breaky.
He's the benchy.
Yeah, well, I didn't remember that part, so I just said he was Randy. Get on your benchy,
Oh, my gosh.
Randy.
Japanese films used to be highly theatrical, but they have moved on to be more cinematic. Leading up to and during the war, the Japanese films were used to produce propaganda films. After the war, there was a new list of regulations from the U.S. government to follow, which made it producing jidaigeki films almost impossible. Film viewership dropped, which promoted pink films to explode, which
Careful.
which featured a lot of sex and violence, which could not be seen on TV. Program pictures were also very popular. Today, anime films such as Demon Slayer Mugen Train are really popular.
Yeah, the Japanese grindhouse.
Yes.
And of course, that tradition has continued, not necessarily the pinku idea, but extreme Japanese genre films, really pushing it. There's some things that are like, oh, this is a horror. Oh, there's water in the apartment or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's scary, but they, things like Ichi the Killer and, things that are just like, wow, it's gonna be a lot of blood in this one.
Yeah, right.
They're really they're pushing it.
Like Lady Snowblood.
Lady Snowblood is an example of grindhouse because it's ostensibly a jidaigeki film,
Yes.
But it has, prison girls in trouble, elements to it. It's got a little bit of everything.
It does.
It's got prison film and sexploitation and violence, and it's also like a good movie too.
It is.
Yeah. There's a lot of those films that are like, that's fun, but come on. It's not that great. But yeah, Lady Snowblood's a good one.
I like that movie. Ichidakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? The girls have snacks on the train. It looks like cookies and potato chips.
They did have unless they were just like the boxes of cookies.
might-
There were boxes on their table. That's why I thought they might have had.
They might be bento
Ekibens,
boxes.
but yeah.
Okay.
But
Well, we'll
yeah,
say they could be bento boxes
with
too.
with senbei in them or something.
Yeah.
Could have been cookies.
Yeah.
I don't know how long the train ride is.
I don't either. The server comes by the train and is selling bento boxes, tea, coffee, and juice. At the campsite, they're making what looks to be like white stew.
Yeah.
Villain gauge, we rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. The phage in this episode is called Sailor Artist.
Sailor Artist.
Yeah.
Whenever this show, not whenever, often when this show tackles the subject of artistry, the life of the artist,
Yes.
it really botches it up really bad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's often, boy, I hope I can do it. Like the one time I think it worked was, of course, my beloved Yumemi Yumeno,
Yes.
who was, I think, very archetypical of a Japanese artist in that wasn't her real name. Or
Right.
maybe it was, in the show or whatever, but that wouldn't be her real name. And because she doesn't want you to come to her house. She doesn't care. She wants to
Yeah.
make her stuff and get paid for it, and you like it, and great. But every other one is like, oh, they're making me work all these hours and I don't like it. But then I learned I've got to work hours to make it work, Or the girl who's like, oh, I wrote these stories and Makoto thinks they're good, so now I'm going to get them published. But, I don't know if I can keep writing. Even though I'm super, super famous and people are lining up to see me. I've got a crisis of confidence.
Yes.
Or there's the starving artist one where it's like, I'm lame, I'm a dumbass.
That's the one I was
I'm going to starve to death.
Yeah.
And the coroner is going to say, good. And I'm not sure that this one improves on that formula.
No.
This guy's just breaking things left and right.
Don't you think it'd be like extremely traumatic as a young child to see a relative of yours like breaking all this pottery around you and saying failure?
Yes. That day, any aspiration that Ray had to become an artist when she was older, she's like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
going to start sweeping up around Grandpa's shrine. And here we are.
And here we are.
Yes. Although, if she was a psychic artist, think about that. Every time they run into a new bad guy, they're like, Ray, you know what to do. She puts her head bandana on, gets her poster paints out. This is who we're looking for.
Oh my gosh.
That's Mickey Mouse.
His villain design, he looks like he's made out of lumpy brown clay.
Yes.
He has red eyes, fangs.
Yes.
and-
That's one way to put it. He also looks like he's made of shit.
Oh, that's true.
Just
I didn't
looks
think
like
of
a
it like that.
Of shit. That is one big pile of shit.
Oh my god. The inside of his mouth is purple.
Yeah, it's weird.
It is weird. He has a black Speedo on and a black and blue Sailor Fuku collar. He has longish clay hair.
And we know his name because it was written on his character design sheet
Yes.
at that stage. But they never say it in the episode.
No, they don't. Now we're up to our rating.
Because otherwise it could be Sailor Potter. Sailor Pugmill.
What's Pugmill?
He's going to grind you up. The Pugmill. The Pugmill is the thing who did pottery in grade school or something.
I did it
The
before.
Pugmill is the thing that you throw old clay into, and it's like a Play-Doh fun factory. It
Okay.
grinds it up and wets it and then shoots it out, and you've got more clay. Now, I don't know if you would use that as a professional, if you would just want fresh clay from my backyard. But I know, when I was in grade school and you screw up the pot or whatever, it goes into the Pugmill. That's what my art teacher sounded like.
Oh my gosh.
You put that in the Pugmill? Just remember that haunts my nightmares.
Oh my gosh. I've never heard of that before. I totally did clay in school, though.
Yeah, just throw it in there and grinds it up.
Oh, interesting.
Kapang-meow.
So now we're up to our rating. I like his overall design, although he does look like poop.
Sailor poop.
Sailor poop.
There you go.
But I like that he has mold ceramics that come out of his stomach and he throws them at the girls. It's weird, but I like it.
It is weird.
He called things a failure as he hit the tents and other parts of the girls' campsite with a wooden mallet. I mean, he's decent. I'm gonna give him 3 out of 5 dark stars.
Wow. I'm gonna give him a 2.
Okay.
And the 2 and not a 1 comes from just the fact that we've managed to, and I hope this continues, somehow break the cycle that we all know is coming, which is, here's a new character with an individuated vocational position. They've got their seed taken out. Now they're a monster. They're defeated. Back to it. This guy has a shelf life. They put him in the kiln and they baked him up. But he gets to hang around for a while. No, we don't see it. But we find out what happens when the sailors mess up. Or don't. We find out what happens when the sailors don't get there in time.
Yeah.
And the answer is the monster just runs around and ravages camps.
Right.
It's not like he becomes enslaved to Siren and then he's going to help her go find other seeds. Because they got 3 other seeds somehow.
Yeah.
But apparently they just look at a guy and go, oh, didn't work. And then they just leave. They don't put it back. They don't slit his throat or anything like that. It just, good thing he was in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, right.
Do you know what I mean? So it's that's interesting. That's something different than we've seen before. But that's not much. And if you're going to shoot pots out of your stomach, which is very strange, then you need to have a wheel in your stomach and you need to do it really fast, put your hands down and zzz, and it spins around, you make whatever it is.
Yes.
And then you throw it. But he's just shooting goo out of his midsection. We've all been there. I'm just not impressed. And then also another attack on artists and another family member or person that Ray knows that we'll never ever see again. So
yeah, it's all true.
You're turning down all the wrong streets as far as I'm concerned. So you're lucky you're getting a 2.
So I do have some trivia for this episode. The double G on Makoto's bikini top may be a reference to the famous clothes brand Chanel.
Oh, because it's like the C, but a C backwards.
Yeah.
I thought it kind of looked like the Quicksilver logo, because she's kind of wearing, this is, like a professional surfing,
okay,
2-piece bikini type thing. And that, the hand holding the wave or whatever.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking
Only
about.
90s kids remember, but that's okay. Never mind. Or Roxy. Roxy had that too. Roxy had 2 hands. I don't know if Roxy is, I think that's the girl version of Quicksilver. So
Something
it's got
like that.
2 hands like that.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Okay.
I think the people that write Sailor Moon Wiki aren't surfers.
I guess not.
Wiki don't surf.
The villain from the tokusatsu film The Three Lights Work On, and whom Seiya steals the costume of, is apparently inspired by Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, he's kind of, the costume kind of has suspenders.
Okay.
Because he also has a poop body.
He does.
But he's got suspenders, and Leatherface has the suspenders over his shirt.
Okay.
Or he's got an apron too. But anyway, yeah.
He also has the monster in the movie wore bracelets that were similar in the design to the bracelets the Sailor Animates wear.
Yeah. Which
I don't know what they're trying to say.
Confusing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. In addition, the monster in the movie is inspired by, of course, Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th franchise.
Yeah.
Because he's got the chainsaw.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's Chainsaw. Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, you're right.
I'm sure Jason's used a chainsaw before.
Yeah, you're right.
He's got all kinds of forestry skills. He lives at a camp.
Oh my gosh.
And the camp that Jason lives at? Camp Crystal.
Oh my goodness.
Tokyo.
This was the only time in the anime series that a member of Rei's family other than her grandfather was seen.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah. The pendant which Kengo gave to Rei looks very similar to the fire soul bird.
Yeah.
This episode is the last time the background music for Sailor Mars Crystal Power makeup transformation was utilized.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
The beginning, the first of many last time ons.
Yes.
All right.
Now we're up to our rating. I like how Usagi is running after Chibi on the train. I like that Rei has a special pendant that her relative made. I like that the Starlights are doing a movie as a super sentai who fight a horror monster. I like that Seiya decides he's going to scare the girls by dressing up in the monster costume for the movie. I like that Yaten and Taiki think that the real monster is Seiya. I like that the clay pots and plates, etc., are made out of the bad guy's stomach and thrown at the girls. But I agree with you. I think that this depiction of an artist is not a very positive one, and he's just seems to think that everything he makes is a failure, and he seems to break his stuff a whole lot. So I'm gonna give this 3 out of 5 roses.
I don't know about any of this. 3 out of 5. Yeah, I can't give it more than a 2. 2,
Okay.
the best I can do. Once again, we have a beach/vacation episode that kind of goes off the rails. It would be great if they could nail one of these, but I think they're all pretty hit or miss when they happen. Although Shingo in a pimp hat, that's what you want. That's what you're going for. But this one did not really measure up. And I make fun of the Scooby-Doo thing, but if they're going to do the Scooby-Doo thing, then they should go all the way into the Scooby-Doo thing.
Yeah.
And they kind of do that. But the plan with him putting the costume on, a promise of comedy that is not fulfilled. They don't do anything with that. You're supposed to have the monster meet the other monster.
You're right.
They didn't do any of that. So we're out there. Ultimately, let's just get to the next one, right?
Yeah.
I guess this is going to be a 2.
My English title is Camping Scary, Experience May Vary.
Yeah, it's hard to rhyme with ravaging, isn't it?
It is.
I had trouble with this one. So we're going to brute force it
Okay.
once again. I tried to think of like horror movies and, obviously like a cabin. You can nail that one, right?
Yeah.
But it was tougher than you'd think. So I've got Cabin Heaver. He's throwing the pots.
He's heaving.
Cabin Heaver. Kinyobi Jusanbanmei. That's Japanese for Friday the 13th. Dumb. The Baka Duke.
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty good, right?
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Stephen King's shit. Kind of want to land on that one. The pot calling the kettle schlock. I don't know. Look, here's the thing. We talked about B movies, so I'm going to borrow the title of a recent kind of B movie insofar as we have B movies these days, a lesser known independent horror film. So my title is going to be Don't Suck in the Woods.
Next episode, we are talking about episode number 184. Futariki no Yoru, Usagi no Pinchi in Japanese, and the English translation, A Night Alone Together, Usagi in Danger.
A night alone with who? Seiya? Come on. If anything, we know he's the Jacob. We could at least set up another Senshi, right?
Yeah.
Get Yaten and Mina stuck in a phone booth or something like that, right? Like what? Ooh, they're alone together. They've already been alone together. Half a dozen times.
I know.
They went to a club together.
They did.
They went to the private sex rooms in the back. No, they're karaoke rooms.
Oh my gosh.
But any public couch, though, you have to wonder, don't you?
You do have to wonder.
Any public couch behind a lockable door. What the
my
hell am I
gosh.
talking about? Hey, instead, let's talk about our Discord. We have a link to it in the show notes. I don't know if you know what Discord is. You probably do. You're an internet person about town, and you should be joining our Discord. We talk about the episodes that we're talking about, but we also talk about other pop culture topics. And we've got a channel for every podcast on the Just Enough Trope Network and some of the podcasts that we've got in our Patreon at patreon.com/Sailor Noob, where we have a half a dozen other podcasts for your listening enjoyment, covering topics like Japanese films, other Japanese animes, and beloved series like Neon Genesis Evangelion and Revolutionary Girl Utena. So don't miss out, join the Discord, and check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Sailor Noob.
Well, that's our show for this week, and the Name of the Moon will be punishing you in 2 weeks with another episode of Sailor Noob.
Yeah, good job, Randy!